Welcome to Rants and Reels. I'm Kyle, and I'm going to see a movie. It's the Mission Impossible Fallout, the Mission Impossible 27, whatever the next Mission Impossible number is. Anyway, it's another Mission Impossible movie, so I guess it's not that impossible. They keep doing it. No, these are pretty fun movies. So let's see what they do, and I'll be back with you in just a second.
Your mission. Should you choose to accept it? I wonder, did you ever choose not to? The end you always feared is coming. And the blood will be on your hands. The fallout of all your good intentions.
You had a terrible choice to make in Berlin. One life over millions. And now the world is at risk.
This is the CIA's mission. If he had held on to the plutonium, we wouldn't be having this conversation.
His team would be dead.
Yes, they would. That's the job.
Down with the victims. We both know you need them. Stuck in the middle of all irrelevance.
You don't understand what you're involved in.
You need to walk away.
Please don't make me go through you.
How many times has Hunt's government betrayed him, disavowed him, cast him aside? How long before a man like that has had enough?
You can't fight the friction. So you can't take the pressure. So
Ethan, that's not who we are.
Maybe we need to reconsider that.
you can't fight the friction.
So, how is he?
Hell, you know. Same old Ethan.
What the hell is he doing?
I find it best not to look.
Well, what can I say about Mission Impossible Fallout? Look, it wasn't bad. It's not that it was bad. It was just not very interesting or captivating. There were, a few enjoyable and fun action sequences or fights or chase scenes. But between those was, like, a lot of downtime. And it's not downtime that was filled with anything interesting. I'm going to have a lot more to say about this because there's a lot of things that really irritated me about this movie. And I think a lot of really missed marks. Overall, I would say that this was a pretty lazy film. Very lazy, actually. So this car is hot in this garage, and I'm going to get driving. Let's talk for a minute about Mission Impossible Fallout. A moment ago, I called it lazy. It was. Mostly because it relied upon some very rote and overplayed formulaic screenwriting. It followed a basic formula of we're going to set it all up within the first 30 minutes. And this is about a 2.5-hour movie. So within the first 30 minutes, for the first 25, 30 minutes, the entire film is set up. So they laid the foundation there. The problem was they didn't conceal any of the framework. The entire framework of the film was fully exposed in the first 30 minutes. So if you're paying attention in those first 30 minutes and you have a general idea of how this genre of film, the spy action thriller films go, and you have at least a passing knowledge of the Mission Impossible film series, then that's it. That's all you need. You can pretty much predict and lay out exactly how everything is going to go down and play out. The only questions that remained were how they were going to get there. And those punches were telegraphed pretty far in advance. And how they hit all of these points was pretty ridiculous. They didn't set up their plot points and their transitions adequately. They just happened. And watching this film, I couldn't help but notice all of the performances were extraordinarily flat. And you have some good actors, some good seasoned actors in here, and to have them unable to pull out a mildly convincing performance was pretty astonishing. Now there were fun parts of the film, fights and action sequences and chase scenes. They were fun to watch. I'm not going to deny that there was a lot of things in this movie that were really, really fun to watch. But to get to those, you have to slog through some very tedious, cumbersome, and really kind of shoddy plot work. I mean, it's not interesting. It is unnecessarily convoluted. It's like watching somebody go the long way around a park when you could just go in a straight line, but they have to follow a path. It didn't make any sense. The actions that took place in order to arrive at points A, B, and C, they didn't flow very well, and that's really kind of the hallmark of a script that needed polish. It needed some work. You have all of these pieces. You can't just shove them together. You've got to weave them together. You've got to make those seams disappear. And that was kind of disappointing. And I wanted to like this movie, or I at least wanted to enjoy it. But I didn't. It was pretty boring for the most part. Which makes me sad, I guess. Not really. I'm not invested in the franchise. I'm not invested in this film. So my disappointment is minimal. My expectations were 0 going into it. I would say skip this one. Or at least, wait till you can watch it at home and fast forward through the parts that are dry and uninteresting and repetitive. They're very dry and repetitive. And that's all I really have to say about Mission Impossible Fallout. Although I am very sure that I will think of more things to say, which I will put into a written review, which you can find down in the video description. Thank you for watching. This is Rants and Reels. Have a good night. Well, the good news is that wasn't for me. Thanks for watching. Have a good night.